Happy Monday, folks. It's Marshall. It's MOOG ONE Monday. How you doing? Thanks for tuning into the show. Yeah, a little bit of a rough start here today, so sorry about that. Actually, I forgot to change my title card because sat down with Suit and Tie Guy yesterday, and when I went to stream today, I forgot to change that, so I had to stop and switch that real quick. So apologize. But yeah, Suit and Tie Guy interview should be up on the channel hopefully in the next couple of days. So stay tuned for that. That was a lot of fun. And it was really cool to get to sit down and talk with Suit and talk about the MOOG ONE because he was a beta tester and sound designer for this amazing synthesizer. So of course it's MOOG ONE Monday, and yeah, it's going to be a good time. So Moog has actually released a firmware update, and let's just take a look at this. So here we go. So we got firmware update 1.0.1 that was released today. I guess it was maybe supposed to come out on the 1st, but it didn't come out until today. So, but yeah, the process was really simple. Just get a USB thumb drive. The MOOG ONE includes one, actually, which is really cool. Load up your firmware. The drive needs to be formatted in FAT32, I believe, or it looks like FAT or exFAT right here. And you just drop in your firmware and do your thing. So, cool thing is that now this is something that I noticed actually the other day when I was trying to integrate this into the DAW for my Saturday live stream where I tend to work on tracks. I noticed that the MIDI would not transmit from the DAW into the synth. It would go from the synth into the DAW, so I could record modulation from like the mod wheel or the filter or whatever. But it wouldn't actually return back into the synth during playback. So they fixed this for the pitch bend, the mod wheel, and the XY pad, I believe. And they've fixed a few things in the synth. And then also there's still some known issues. The big one for me is this one down here, number 13. USB MIDI not working yet in Windows systems. So I wonder if I was the one that actually told them about this. I did reach out to Moog when I first got the MOOG ONE, hooked it up to Windows, and noticed that yeah, the driver wasn't recognizing. And actually, I could show you that. So I can show you what that looks like. So we go here into actually we want to go to Manage, don't we? Well, we could have got there from there. That's all right. So in Device Manager, here's what we see. So it shows the MOOG ONE in here, but when we you know, we get little errors in here, and so it's something wrong with the way the driver's been configured, I believe. So hopefully there'll be another patch out soon that will address this. So for right now, I'm just using a MIDI dongle, MIDI to USB dongle, one of those little Mio things, and that'll work nice. And I have it hooked up in here, and as you can see, it does. I am receiving MIDI from the MOOG ONE. So we'll test that out here. And on my Saturday stream, because this was broken and I've been working to try and do a track with the MOOG ONE, obviously that's kind of the main thing having a synth is to use it in a song. And because this integration was kind of not working all the way, I wasn't able to do anything really. So I kind of played through some patches, some trance patches I'd been working on, and I can demo a few of those for you guys today if you'd like, but that's kind of the thing here. Let's see. Oh, we got Doscos in the chat room. What's up, Doscos? How you doing, buddy? Yeah, so sorry about that, the change up in the schedule there. So yeah, so today happened that I'm doing this kind of late. I wanted to do this earlier, but actually fell asleep after work. Oops, don't tell anyone. And when I woke up, it was like 8 o'clock. So then after getting some dinner and then hooking everything up, and yeah, it's 10 o'clock all of a sudden. So that's the way it goes. But yeah, so let's take a look here. So I guess what we'll do is we'll just try and record some sequences here and see if they play back the way they should. So I've got my little trance pad that I made. It's kind of a super saw. So we'll come back over to Ableton and let me set up the recording here. So that should be good. And you know what we should do? It's easier to play to like a kick of some kind. So let me throw in a kick here. we'll drop in the Kick 2 plugin. And let's get a kick going and get a 4/4 beat. Let me turn that down. Let's find something a little better. Definitely not that one. Maybe something like that. Fresh 03. That'll work for our purposes. And let's speed up the tempo to like, let's do 130. Alright, let me come back over here. We'll start this up. And let's record some MIDI in here, see what happened. Okay, and I screwed that up. But yeah, let's do this. Let's record some automations with this mod wheel here. Then we'll stop this. Okay, and we're back in Ableton. And then let's take a look at the envelopes here. There we got some mod wheel stuff going on. So let's just see if we kind of program some stuff in here. So let's bring it to like here, and maybe something like that. Let's see what that sounds like. So this was not working the other day. So, oh, you know what I forgot to do? We need to do this, and we need to change this. I think I've got the input channel on 2, maybe. Okay, so that is working. Obviously, it sounds like shit, but let's see if we can quantize these notes. Quantize. Thanks, Kast. Says the sound quality of the Trance Patch is fantastic. Huge live sound. I agree. It's really cool, actually, being able to get a sound like that out of a Moog. That's just really cool to me. It means that I had intended on maybe getting a Prologue or something like that that could do some of those types of sounds, and I don't think I need to now. I think the Moog One's got me covered. So, yeah, so I guess that's working, and maybe we can play around with that a little bit later. But let's try and do some patching then. Let's try and play with a patch from scratch. So to initialize, to get a init patch, I believe it's compare and shift. If you press these together, we're at the init screen, and we just have a single oscillator active with the ladder filter, and it's all triangle or sawtooth. Okay, so let's just try and make something here. So the cool thing is with this synthesizer, since there are 2 filters, you have a state variable filter, which you can actually change the filter type between low pass, band pass, high pass, and notch, I believe. It's hard for me to see this panel under the V-synth here, but I believe that's the case. And then with the With the ladder filter, you've got high pass and low pass, but you also have several different slopes. So there's a 24 dB, it looks like 18, 12, and 6, which is cool. So and what that does is it will change, and we can actually drill down into this by using the More button, and we can see our filter here. So this is the ladder filter, and then as I switch the slopes here, you'll see obviously there's a more gradual slope as we go through these, and then with the state variable filter, you can see the different settings here. And this is really cool because if you run these in parallel, you can actually shape your sound. So if you're getting too much low end, for example, like I did this on one of those super saw patches where I used the state variable filter to kind of cut some of the low and leave the high, the mids and highs, and that worked out really well. On the one that we were just looking at earlier, actually, and we can probably go back to that if we need to, but I believe I left it that way, and I was using high pass on one of them as well. So it's just a lot of fun to be able to experiment between these different filter settings and help you shape the sound, which is really nice. And then there's, I think, sorry, this lavalier battery pack keeps falling off of my lap, so let me put it on my pocket. Oh no. Now I've just disconnected myself from the mixer. There we go. Now I'm back. Sorry about that. Anyway, so let's make a patch. So this is really easy. If you're familiar with Moog synthesizers, this is a lot like a mini Moog, but like on massive steroids. So you've got your 3 oscillators over here. There's some OLEDs that display the waveform. And right now, like I said, we just have the one oscillator active. To activate the other ones, we can just route those into the filter, into whichever filter we want. Now we've got 3 sawtooths here. All going through the ladder filter, and as we sweep this, we've got no resonance, and we can turn that up a little bit. Which is cool. So, and then we can go through here and we can set different octaves on these. And if we were to switch these to squares and start kind of doing that kind of thing, you really get something that sounds a lot like a mini Moog to my ear. So in the oscillator section, the cool thing about this is you have like a variable wave shape option here. So it will go between sawtooth and I want to say square. Yeah, so, and you probably can't see this on the screen, and I apologize, but this lower knob here is going to be what varies between the wave shapes. So in this case, it's between sawtooth and a square. So now I've set them all to squares. Which is really cool. So that's all 3 squares. Now what we can do is if we switch these back to sawtooth, there's actually an adjustment here, and actually I think we have to switch these to triangle to do this. So you can go between sawtooth and square or triangle and square. So if when you're in the triangle mode, there's this other knob here, and I can't remember what this is called. I can't really see it from here. But it will actually move the waveform back and forward. So if I'm in the middle, it's a triangle. And let me turn these off. You can hear the triangle. And that's pretty low. But as I move this, now I'm at a sawtooth, I'm at a triangle, and now I'm at a ramp. And you can modulate this and do all kinds of cool stuff. So that's something that I've never seen on a synthesizer before, the ability to actually adjust in this way. You know, we've seen variable wave shape stuff where you can go between a saw, a square, a triangle, those types of things. Like the Little Fatty has that. I want to say that the Sub 37 has that too, but the way this does it is you can get the in-between states as well, which is really nice. You see, as we add that square, we get all these additional harmonics in here. So anyway, let's fire up these other, and these are all just going through the ladder filter right now. The other thing is there's a beat frequency feature. I want to say that's this knob up here, which will allow you to get some detuning, but that will track correctly across the keyboard. And then there is a frequency knob, which I don't want to touch because I can't see it to get it back in the right spot if I move it. But that's kind of the more aggressive detuning, but it may not track all the way up and down the keyboard. So using the beat thing here is really cool. You get some nice detuning. I might have just screwed myself here. There we go. And the other thing is the modulation. The mod wheel is always automatically set to a vibrato. So the mod wheel is sending modulation to all oscillator frequencies. So that's how we get our vibrato on here. And I usually come in and I have pretty much deleted that because I like to, I guess you could leave that, obviously. It's up to whatever you want to do. But if we wanted to route some modulation, like it's real easy. There's more buttons for each one of the LFOs here that we can bring up. We can see that there. There's also a destination knob, which is really cool. So if I hit this and then I turn my filter, that automatically has made the connection for me in the mod matrix between LFO 1 and my filter cutoff for the ladder filter, and I've just turned that all the way up. So then if we hit done and we turn the filter down, you can see I've got instant filter modulation with LFO 1. And then if we drill down again into the LFO, there's all the different settings. So you can actually change the rate at which the envelope will change. Not only the shape, but also the speed. So you could go really, really slow or like ridiculous fast. So let's see if we can change that. So right now I'm on medium, I believe. Or no, it's on low. So that's medium. Let's turn that. Let's get just a little more filter coming through here. That might be a little low for you guys. So that's pretty wild. Now we can actually even go higher than that. So we set this thing to high. And that's wild right there. So that's awesome. So that's one of the easy ways to like do some modulation on this synthesizer, and not a lot of menu diving to do that. Like you can literally hit the destination button and turn almost any knob. I think I haven't tried everything. Obviously, I've only had this thing a week, but I like that instant access is there for me to do some of that simple modulation like right away. The thing that I'm really interested in figuring out how to utilize is actually this modulation envelope. I can't figure out how to use it. I need to spend some more time specifically on that. Because I think with that, what I can do is I can set certain modulations that happen like at the beginning of a note, and then disappear. And that's really cool because you can get some nice transients right at the attack and then have that modulation disappear for you, which would be cool. So I used to do stuff like that all the time in Reason, actually, with the Maelstrom. The Maelstrom had something that was kind of similar to that, where you could, I think it was more of a one-shot thing, and you can route stuff into a certain LFO that was, and you could set it to loop or be a one-shot type thing, and it was really cool. I used to get some real cool stuff out of that. So it'd be nice to actually be able to emulate something kind of like that on a massive synthesizer like this. Anyway, so if we want to delete that, we can always just go back in here and delete, and now that's gone. So that's pretty sweet. Let's see, what else can we talk about? So the master clock, let's talk about this. I actually haven't looked at this really at all. And having this more button is like a lifesaver, because you could just press this and you're right into where you need to be. So this gives you your beat clock. And it looks like you can set your swing amount, nudge mode, load preset tempo. So I guess if you set a tempo in your preset, you can load that in. But let's get this to match our Ableton session. So I'm at 130. Now, should be able to synchronize this. I'm not sure if that's working yet. The last time I tried it, now that's not with the new firmware. I wasn't able to get the synchronization to work. Oh, come on. The other cool thing that I found with the Moog One is, because of that class-compliant USB host port in the back, you can actually plug in a regular keyboard on here, and I've been using that to name my patches rather than trying to tap on. That's close enough. I just want to test out this arpeggiator. That'll be the next thing I want to try. So, yeah. And we can drill down into this as well. So there we go. So we got some cool stuff. And oh yeah, let's talk about the effects, I guess, since we're kind of working on the sequence with the arpeggiator. It'd be cool to add some effects. So again, we have our more buttons. We could drill down into these. So you have two different. There's a system effects option and a master effects option. The system effects can be different per timbre, and the master effects affect everything, as far as I understand. But if we come in here, we can actually change our effects. So by default, I believe this is on a delay of some kind. Let's activate it and turn it up. So we can actually come in and change this. There's an effect type button up here, and hopefully my arm isn't getting in the way of that too much. I'll try and be mindful of that. But yeah, so right now it's on delay. There's a stereo delay, a ping pong delay, BBD delay, a tape delay, a flanger chorus, dual chorus, ensemble, 6-stage flanger, phaser, 12-stage phaser, time phaser, bit crusher, resonator, and then there's the two vocoder options, a 10-band and a 16-band. So, and then the other thing is, once you come into one of these, like let's say we want to go into tape delay, there's different options for within the tape delay. So there's a bright, fast mod, I guess just a generic tape delay, tape feedback, tape loop, and vibrato feedback. So let's just pick one of these. So That feels like I'm on freaking outer space. Let's go into the master effects, turn those on, and these are going to default to an eventide reverb. But let's see what other types of reverb is in here, because there's quite a few. And actually, you could put whatever you want on here, but these have access, since it's the master effects, you have access to the eventide reverbs. Yeah, so there's a eventide room, hall, plate, shimmer, and black hole. So the black hole is pretty drastic, but let's try one. Let's try this one. Let's try the first one. See what I mean? Yeah. Okay, let's try a different one. Try and keep this wet dry a little on the light side here for this. This black hole reverb gets ridiculous. And it just goes. Yeah, so the effects engine on here is just, it's like nothing I've ever owned, honestly. And I don't collect pedals or any external outboard effects, really. Back in the day, when I first started using synthesizers, I remember I got a Nordlead 2X and like a TC Electronics reverb and delay rack thing. I just never used it. I always used effects in the box, but man, this is really cool, and I can understand why people invest in buying some of those outboard effects, because especially like these eventides, I'd never heard anything, you know, other than people that use them on YouTube videos and stuff, but they sound fantastic. And it just goes. It's insane. Let's try something that's a little less crazy, though. Let's back out of here. So to back out, we can just click. There we go. Let's try a plate. Plates are always good. So now we almost actually have a sound. So the other thing I want to do, I mean, we have a sound, but like, let's try and add some modulation to the pitch wheel. So to do that, I'm trying to remember now, how do I route this? Now we can go into the mod matrix and manually do this, where we pick our source. Let's say, I have to remember now how to do this. But yeah, if we want to go, is the filter, wait, let's try a filter cutoff. Amplitude, modulation, noise. I guess mod wheel will be our source. And then we want our destination to be my arm is right in the way. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm a right-handed person. So yeah, here we go. Here's filters. Ladder filter cutoff. So that should be there. Now if we turn this down. Let's add a little bit of resonance on that. And this is where somebody was asking me why there's two headphone jacks on the front of this, and it's because if you're playing two-handed, you need a third hand to manipulate controls and stuff, and I guarantee you that's why. So 2 people can plug in headphones, and somebody's manning the controls while someone's playing on the keys. So let's try and record a sequence with this that we just made, and see what happens here. So we'll jump back over to this. Actually, we'll just delete this out. And we've got our kick going so that we can have an idea of what we're doing. Guess it doesn't really matter since we've got an arpeggiator, but okay, so we got our sequence. Did that even record anything? Oh no. Well, you know what I forgot to do? This is a bitch. I need to change this back. I've been having MIDI issues all day with this thing. Because that didn't capture any of my notes. It might be my Mio, actually, and that's one of the things, like, I really need that Windows 10 driver working for MIDI. What we can do is, for right now, I can use my controller to play it in. That's a bummer. But Moog's working on this stuff. They're still working on the MIDI implementation in general, but not having that Windows driver working, and then either my shitty dongle's not working right, and I've had issues with this Motu 128 Express MIDI, I guess patch bay type thing. It is really inconsistent as well, which is a bummer. But let's just do this. Okay, so that's recording. So I'm just going to use my Novation controller for right now to get this in here. Nothing special, but let's just clip this over. And then we can manually do our modulation since we don't have enough hands. Anyway, so yeah, it's a lot of fun playing with this. There's a lot that can be done. There's a lot that I still need to unlock on here. But I do find that the massive amount of controls on the panel is very, very nice and intuitive to get around. The thing I'm trying to remember how to do a lot of times is when I need to drill down and do a lot more of the complex modulation routing. I need to I need some more time practicing with that. I want to figure out how to use this modulation envelope and what that's all about, how I can leverage that in sound design. Yeah, really cool. Again, probably the biggest thing on here for me is the addition of second filter. And that state variable filter just sounds great. In fact, let's demo that. We can go back to an init patch. Let me switch the camera back over for you guys. So we can actually shut off the ladder filter and run all 3 oscillators through the state variable filter. And the cool thing is there's a hold button, so I can hold a chord and manipulate. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry for your ears. it just has like a very nice sound in the different modes here. So here's a notch. You almost get like a comb filter type effect if you were to modulate that. Then here is a what is that? That's a bandpass. It's really cool. What else? This is a high pass. Let's get a chord in here. Just lovely sounding filters. And then just a regular low pass, which I think we heard already, but. Then, if you're to combine these, and I haven't even done anything with ring modulation or noise or anything. That's the other cool thing. There's a dedicated ring modulation output on here that you can run with everything else. It's a nice additional source that you can add and get even more wild on here. So, but yeah. So now we got both filters active. I believe I'm in parallel mode. So that means that each one of these knobs will operate independent of one another. But you can actually link them if we link it here. So that's something that you can do. But if you were to use, say, the state variable filter to shape a little bit, and then if you want to do sweeps and stuff with the ladder, this is how you would do that. So like I would probably move this into like a either a bandpass or a high pass. Get it in a nice sweet spot on here. And then like do some sweeping with the ladder filter. And that's just a way to keep it to where, like, if you're getting a lot of low end, because you can get like a massive amount of low end on here, you can kind of cut some of that out, shape it with the filters, which is cool. So, and then you start modulating all this stuff and doing automation in a DAW of some kind, like what I'll be doing. This is a dream. I love it. I love it. I love the Moog One. I love you, Moog One. Oh, dude, Adamski, what's up, buddy? Haven't seen you in a while, because I know you're in the UK, so you probably don't get a chance to catch me live much. And we got KV5 in there. What's up, man? How are you? So yeah, a little bit of a rough start on the stream here tonight, but that was a lot of fun. I'm going to continue playing with this. As more firmware updates come out, I'll definitely keep everyone updated on that. Again, the big one for me is I really need that USB MIDI driver to work. It's going to help a lot. But at least it's at a point now in development with the firmware to where I'm able to utilize some of the controls through my DAW, which is a big deal for me because I'm not a live player. I can barely play. I can play enough to figure out some melodies, and then I usually sequence in the DAW. So like I really need to have that functionality working as soon as possible. So, and I think it's at a point now where it's usable. So, and this is going to get better. Moog's going to be adding more features in here. The other thing that I did test out the vocoder slightly, and actually I would have done a video on this, but this is the stupid microphone that I have. It is an AKG, and it doesn't work very well. So I may need to get a different microphone to test that, or do some special routing through my system to make that work. So I will test that out. It seems like they made some enhancements to the audio input levels. I guess it was a little too quiet. So that's something that I will test out when. Actually, I should probably test that out this week, and maybe if it seems like it's working better, then maybe we'll talk about it on Monday, next Monday, Moog One Monday. And we got Mars One. What's up, man? Noise floor. So there is a little bit of noise and like hiss that you can hear a little bit. So I can show you this. In my first Moog One video, when I first got the synth, like that day, and did a live stream, I was getting a little bit more noise than usual because I had some shit cables that I had swapped out. But you can see, like, we are getting a little bit of noise in here. I wonder if we toss in an EQ, you can probably see. And the other thing we'll probably end up doing is, you can see just a few, and you can probably hear it. Like if I mute this, does it go away? I don't know if that goes away. I might need to mute the whole input from over here. I might be getting noise from somewhere else, actually. That might take some experimenting, but I have heard other people having some noise, so I don't think that is uncommon at the moment, if that means anything to you. Yeah, so sorry. I know a lot of you guys watch me over across the pond, and I appreciate that. I used to do these live streams super late. Damsky was one of the guys who would be in here, and it's like midnight over here, like 7 a.m. over there. Those were a lot of fun. Yeah, so asking about a studio tour. So I'm planning on doing a studio tour as soon as the Quantum gets here, which is going to be the end of this month. Then I feel like, because I want to get like everything I'm planning to get for the year will be here, and we'll do a studio tour. And actually, there's 2 separate rooms now for this operation, so. It's going to be a lot of fun. I did one last August, and I had planned to do one once a year, so I plan to do one in August. And then the Moog One was dropped, and well, I can't remember when that was announced, but it was like maybe early September or something, if I remember right. Maybe now, maybe it's October. I don't know, but for some reason I did do it in August, and oh, I didn't do it because I had bought the Quantum, and I was waiting for the Quantum to arrive, which had kept getting pushed back. But then the Moog One was announced, and now it's funny because that was announced and it's already here. I'm still waiting on the Quantum. Yeah, so that'll be coming up pretty soon. I promise. That'll be that's a big deal. I actually did a bunch of cable management in here to make it look good because there was cables everywhere, and that took a long time, but I think I've done a good job with that. What else? So Andromeda didn't have noise, for example, and then we may be getting, because I have the synth muted basically, and I'm still hearing some hiss in my cans, but I can also see on the synth input here that we're getting a little bit of noise from the synth itself, and we can go here and you can see we've got a little bit of noise coming in. So I don't know. Yeah, we shut that all the way off and it goes away, and now it's back. So I don't know. And the Andromeda is a really cool synth. I thought about getting one of those too, but you know, I had heard some stuff that those are a bitch with the voice chips. And I don't know how easy it is to get parts for one of those. So if I bought one and it broke, I'd be screwed. So at least with this thing, it's a new synth, very powerful analog. It's from a company that I really want to support, which is Moog, and in my opinion, they make high quality gear, of course. And this is a synthesizer that I've wanted for them to make for years, so definitely going to support them on that. It's called putting your money where your mouth is. And when I said that if this was real, I would do whatever I could to get one, I did. So, yeah, but there's nothing wrong with the Andromeda. The Andromeda is a really cool synth too. It's just I would be worried about getting one if it had problems. That's kind of a lot of money to leave hanging out there. At least with this, they'll be making this for a long time. And if there was a problem, I've got at least that first year warranty on it, and I'm sure I could get parts for it if I need it after that. So, and honestly, I've got several Moogs, and I've never had a single problem. I've got a Fatty, a Sub 37, a Mini Moog, and a Slim Fatty, and I've had the Sub 37 for a few years, the Little Fatty for a few years, the Slim Fatty I've had a long time, and the Mini Moog I've had for about 2 years. So it's not like forever or anything, but most of the stuff I've had from them has been really solid. So. Yeah, Adamski says you're quick to grab that Moog. Yeah, I had to, man. This is like, especially the opportunity to grab a low serial number. I've never had that option to get something with a low serial number, and this is number 7. And because of that, that's why I made some moves immediately to get a low serial number. If that was not the case, I may have waited a little while. Because between this and the Quantum, like that's a lot of money on synths in 1 year, plus all the other stuff. I bought like a whole bunch of modules this year and other stuff too. So it's like, yeah, I need to calm down a little bit. But it's just such an opportunity that I don't think I would ever have. So I made sure to take advantage of that. That was kind of the main thing. So anyway, guys, I think I'm going to call it a night for the Moog Monday this week. I apologize for the late start and some of the hiccups. I had some issues getting going. Stay tuned for the Suit and Tie Guy interview. That will be on the channel hopefully in the next couple of days. I've sent that to him to just make sure everything's good. And if we're good to go, then that'll be posted live and hopefully this week sometime. And that was a lot of fun. Suit is a really cool guy, and really appreciated him chatting with me. So hopefully that'll be up here pretty soon. Also been talking with Marcus Fuller, if you guys know him. So hopefully he's planning on getting a Moog One, and I asked him to come on the channel. So when he gets his Moog One, we'll probably reconvene and have him on for an interview as well. He's a really cool guy. I'm really excited about that too. So lots of cool stuff coming up. Also JD990. If you guys saw my video about the JD990 screen, I bought a replacement from a guy in the UK who sent that to me. That should be here tomorrow. So I might start working on a video swapping that screen out. It was a little expensive, but given what I paid for the synth, I'm okay with it. But yeah, we'll see if that fixes my problem. If there's a separate issue with like a transistor or something in there that's causing the backlight to freak out, that's a different story. But I'm pretty sure it's the screen, and we'll find out about that. So that'll be a lot of fun. Anyway, so I think I'll call it a night here, guys. Have a good one. I'll be definitely back next Saturday and be back Monday. So I kind of do these whenever I can. The Saturdays ones are right around 5 p.m. usually. These ones, since they're on a weekday and I have a job, it'll probably be around, I want to try and do them around 6 p.m. Mountain. That's GMT -7, I think. Might have changed because we just had the time change. But anyways, around 6 or 7 p.m. Mountain Time is when I'd like to do these. This one, unfortunately, I got started late, but just in case, if I'm late, make sure you hit the bell icon on the channel and you'll be notified as soon as I go live. Or follow me on Twitter, because I think that gets posted there when I go live too. So. All right. Have a great time, guys. Have a good week. If you're in America, go vote tomorrow, please. And I'll catch you all later.